Oftentimes in life, we'll be faced with setbacks, we'll be faced with losses or regret. And today I want to go over how do we overcome that? How do we progress from that? How do we not dwell into it forever? To put it simply, the idea here is just to review the footage. You, and this is not advice for everybody, this is not an approach that everybody can use, but for some of us, that can be the difference between ruminating and progressing, like reviewing footage in order to learn from it, right? If you go and look at whatever it is that you regret, look at whatever situation you um, wish you would have acted different in, right? Let's say for the sake of this video, you didn't go talk to a girl, and you're sitting there regretting the events. You regret how those things developed and why you didn't go, right? And you're thinking about it, thinking about it, thinking about it. The first step is to realize the assumptions you're making about what you did, right? You didn't go talk to this person, okay? There's a possibility that things could have grown from that, okay? That from whatever decision you would have made, things could have developed into something else, right? There's also a chance that no. And that's the first basis to start with, is you don't know. We don't know what could have came out of it. And that's a double-edged sword. So yes, oftentimes we think we don't know, and so we regret and we think, what if? But we also got to realize maybe it wouldn't have worked out, and that's okay. We understand that the issue here is not necessarily what comes out of it, is the fact that we are upset that we didn't take an action. And you see how already there we made a difference. We made a difference between just blaming a situation in which we it's done and we think about it even though there's nothing we can do about the past now. And now we shifted the focus to our actions. What we're upset about here is ourselves. We did not take action when maybe we thought we should have. Okay, so now it's about looking at the emotion or the the sequence of events and thinking, what was that which I was feeling? Because maybe, and this is something that we can think about, maybe we had good reason not to take a certain action. Maybe you not going and talk to this person might have been for a good reason. But the point here is that there's always a reason why we don't um, go for opportunities, or why we have regret, why we um, have not acted a way or another. And that's the key, is once you sort of look at it as you played a game, like a basketball game, and let's say you lost, and now you can review the camera and look, where in that process did the blockade come from? Was it that you didn't trust yourself to pursue something you wanted to? Okay, why? What can I do to solve that next time? Or is it that I is it that you were dealing with doubt, right? Like doubt about yourself. So there's a difference between you didn't trust yourself enough and you had a doubt about you. You see what I'm saying? It's not necessarily the same feeling. It's not the same experience. And so when you define that, now you can have a better understanding as to what is it that happened. And when you have more clarity on that, the next time that the situation happens, well, now you already overcame it in your head, one like once you reviewed the footage from the last failure. And so when it happens again, now things can flow better. And so there's two things we talked about up to now. It's to look at the assumptions you're making about the situation or yourself. The second point is to look at this as a game that you played, and now you're reviewing the footage as to what led you to take this decision. And the third part is kind of linked to this, but it's to not be too hard on yourself. You you know, this is your first time at life too, and it's it's normal to fail. And every time you fail, you're just exposed to one more thing that was a blockade anyways in your path. And so you can look at it as maybe you're 20 fails away from success. Maybe you're 30 fails away from success. Maybe you're 2 fails away, 1, right? But once you look at them as there were just blockade that were gonna be in my way anyways, right? Well, I'm gonna have to have more clarity on this if I want to become who it is that I can become, right? And so this can apply to posting videos. This can apply to, like as we said, going to talk to a girl or launching a business. All the things that stop you from it or make you get away from pursuing that, which inspires you and stuff like that, are all things that you're gonna have to deal with regardless. They're all things that are part of you, and to better understand that, what they will always come back. If you're not trusting yourself enough, showed up in this scenario, is going to show up in another scenario, and another, and another, and so the suffering is going to be, how it impacts your life is going to be continuous, is what I'm trying to say, right? But once you look at it as you do the work or reviewing that thing, but you got to do it in a sort of detached way. This is, look at it as ideas. Don't look at it as being so judgmental, and just accept it for what it is. You didn't trust yourself enough. Boom. Now you have something that you can work with, and you can start building trust in yourself. And it's like, okay, what does that mean? Was it really trust that I was struggling with? And you'll know, because you'll know is the answer, because you won't be happy about it. And that's important to remember. You'll know is the answer because it will bring you a silence. When you find the answer as to why did things happen a certain way, you get a sort of surrender. You sort of surrender to the idea, and your emotions settle. All that anger you have towards yourself, all of that commotion that happens is sort of at ease, because now you that answer, that idea falls perfectly in place to explain the experience you had, right? And so that's how you can determine that you have found what is it for you that caused your situation, right? That caused you to feel this way, that caused the regret or the anger and blah blah blah. And sometimes it's stuff that we don't want to deal with, right? We don't want to think about, but sometimes it is self-sabotage. Okay, well, why would I self-sabotage? Is it that I don't believe that I deserve certain things? Why do I think that? How can I start to implement a life where I believe that I deserve this type of attention, affection, blah blah? What could I do about that? And all of those things are going to be actions that you can take towards yourself to change the dynamic that you have with yourself, so that when you have the opportunity to accept it from the outside, you'll be able to be receptive to it. Let me give you an example. If you start caring about yourself more and give yourself the attention more, and you understand how to do that, and take actions that develop you, right, that push you to grow, then when you'll be able to find it from the outside, right, when you will be faced with it on the exterior from somebody else, right, the opportunity to accept it, you'll be able to, because you have what it takes to receive it. You've demonstrated through all this time in the past that you you do accept that for yourself. You do allow that to get to you because you, through your actions, give it to yourself. You care about yourself. You give attention to you, and you do things that bring you closer to you, that bring you clarity, not things that push you away from it, right? And all that to say that that is what can make the difference between ruminating about a subject and actually finding something out of that, to realize that if you failed at it, there is a reason for it, because you're not happy about it. So why did it happen? There is an answer there. And if you can look at it in an objective way without being too attached to it, too subjective about it, and you can accept it for what it is, you'll find an answer in there that brings you peace. And you got to make sure that you're not working out of assumptions, and you can allow that answer to come to you. And from there, you'll understand that that was going to be part of the cycle of life anyways. And that was something that you had to deal with regardless. And so if you can figure this one out, then you realize that that's one blockade less between you and becoming great, or finding whatever it is that you want to find in the world. And you can implement things to be able to receive it from the outside, such as caring about yourself and stuff like that. That's what we're talking about here. And so I hope that makes sense. If you want help with implementing a lifestyle and habits that can enhance that, I'd love to work with you to do that. You can leave a comment, send me an email, send me a message, follow my Instagram. Thank you for watching, and like and comment. I'll see you on the next one.